You're going too fast. You're going too fast. You're going to crash. Oh my god, you just beat my ass. Oh, you crashed!
I already did 3 laps.
Winner!
And I already had the upper hand.
Hey everybody, welcome to 14 Minutes of Fame. I'm James Bradford.
And I'm Caroline Ritchie.
And tonight we're going to be talking about the movie car, the John Wick 1969 Fastback Mustang. And we were going to build a car. I was basically calling it the WICKSTER. I found his car in his movie was a 1969 Mach 1 Fastback, beautiful car. Obviously, anybody that's out there has shopped for anything like that knows how expensive those cars are. So we were going to try to do a HHWheels a HHWheels show on revamping a 1970 shell like we did with the Rotrunner, something along those lines.
Yeah, we had high hopes for that. How long have we been kind of dwelling on this project for? What, about a year?
A little over a year.
A little over a year?
Yeah. Collecting parts and.
Well, where did your idea behind it come from? Because I know we had talked about it before, and then we found a car together that we had kind of tag teamed on Facebook, but that you were looking at this even way before I had any clue of what was going on.
Yeah, obviously anybody that's out there that's watched John Wick, the first movie when he's or even the second one. I think the second one is really when he steals his car back and he jumps it out of the warehouse. And that scene I said, I have to have one of these. You know, some way, somehow, I want to drive one of these, and I want to have one that we can just romp on and do gnarly burnouts in, and so I really was wrapping my head around this car. So I went on Facebook and I started, just looking for these cars, sport tops, Mach 1s. A lot of them were way out of my price range to do what we were doing with. But then I came across one. The guy wanted like $500 for it or something like that. And it was a sport top. It had the vents on the side. So I think it was just a sport roof. It wasn't really a Mach 1. I think it was a 6-cylinder car. And that's what he told me. They had straight 6 in them, but it still had this fastback look, you know. So I contacted him. He lived in PA. I was going up to Maryland I needed to go and visit a friend up there. So we're going up to Maryland, and I was like, I'm going to bring my trailer. I'm going to send you a check. I'm coming up next week, and I'll send you a check right now. Hold my check. You know I'm serious. I'm coming, that kind of deal. So we went, I got up there. He had an old junkyard, and he had a bunch of cars in front of it. He had a guy come in, move these cars out of the way, and then he grabbed the front of this 1969 Mustang Fastback and grabbed it from the front. And when he grabbed it from the front, the whole car just shrunk. The whole width of the car shrunk. That's how rusted out the bottom of it was. Now, keep in mind, I had a phone conversation with this gentleman about how restorable this car was, and he said, yeah, you could restore it. Like, that's how he said it to me confidently. Yeah, you could restore this car. I got up there. The fenders were probably 10 inches further in than where they were supposed to be, because when they pulled it out, they pulled the front of this car so far forward, and it was so rusty that it just squished in the front. And I said, I can't even get this on my trailer. The running gear wasn't on it. It was just terrible. So one of those deals where you find something on the internet, obviously it was a $500 car, like it probably was a $500 car to somebody because the roof line and everything was there. So some of these people will take a regular, like a Grande or something like that, 70 or 69 Mustang, and they'll put a sport roof on them.
Yeah.
That's not my gig. That's crazy. I wouldn't want to do that. So when we were so it came around, John Wick wanted the car. I got the PA. That didn't work out. I brought an empty trailer back. I did get to go by Richmond and meet some cool dudes on my way back. It's called Fat Monkey Garage in Richmond.
You did tell me about this, yeah.
And I got some video that hopefully we'll put on there, for the YouTubers that are watching, because this garage is really cool, and you would never know it's there. But they were selling some parts on Facebook. Some Mopar parts, I think a rear end or something that I wanted. So I went by and bought the rear end, but then I ended up buying all those parts. Like I bought the slot mags, the 15-inch slot mags for that we used on the Rot Runner.
Yeah.
And I bought a bunch of other parts for our 72 Charger, and brought those home. Sway bars and front and rear sway bars. And they had a couple of Chargers they were parting out. But very, very cool garage, super cool guys. Really had a great time with that, and I hung out all day with them. Ended up coming home, and really didn't think much of it until I think you sent me a link, because we were both kind of looking at it. We're like, this would be a cool car.
Yeah, he wanted a decent amount for it. It had a title. It didn't have really anything else. It was just a shell.
I think he started at $3,000, and we were offering him $1,500.
He started it. I think he started around $2,750, but close.
Okay.
And so I offered him $2,000 or something originally, and he's like, "That's too low for me. I can't do that." So I said, "Whatever," and we just swept under the rug. But I kept watching it because I progressively saw his price keep getting lower and lower and lower as time went on, and then
it got below the 2,000.
It got below what I offered him, yeah. And then after 2,000, I think he was at like 1,950 or something, and I was like, "All right, would you take 1,200?" He's like, "That's still too low for me." I was like, you should have just taken the $2,000 or whatever I offered you.
It became a game. It really did.
Yeah, and then eventually it got to the point where I was like, "I'll give you $1,000 for this thing," and he's like, "Please come get it," because I think he got to like 1,250, and you and I were talking about it, so we said screw it, and we drove up to North Carolina, which was very interesting to get it on the trailer, because remember the really windy little tiny roads we had to get on?
Yeah, we ended up, I think we winched it on, didn't we?
Yeah, well, he had it tucked in his garage, but you know how a garage normally is like a drive-in situation? He had pushed it in, because there's nothing to it, and then put it back against his back wall. So getting it out was interesting. Thank God he had wheel dollies, but also his driveway was just such an incline.
I remember that? Yeah.
And his neighbors, their yard just dropped off right off the road, so you're like, I can't really turn around, I can't, back this car in, or trailer in, what am I going to do? But thankfully we got it, and that brings us to today. It's been sitting for how long?
Well, I mean, no, we got a few other steps on what we did to get to the point where we're going with this. I want to touch on a few other things, because we went and got this car, and I got underneath it and looked at it, and it'd been hacked up to make a drag race car out of it, and probably sat outside for a long, long time, because all the parts that they put on it were raw steel, and they were rusted solid, just terrible. All the suspension parts they did was terrible work. It all had to be cut out. So I really had to my wheels had to start turning. Do I really want to buy this car? The cool part about the car was it still had the whole, it still looked like that 70 fastback Mustang.
Yeah.
So it had the look, but my mind started turning because the shock towers were cut out already.
They cut holes for the shock towers in the back, though. Remember that? And they have the tubs in the back that are just riveted in.
Yeah. It's just a bad job. Everything was going to have to be redone. But I was wrapping my head around it, and we went and got a Coyote motor for it. Recently, yeah. I was thinking that we were going to, you brought up the fact that maybe, have that old Ranger, I was like, okay, maybe that'll work, if we take the body off the Ranger and use the Ranger chassis.
We bought the parts car for it too.
The parts car is the whole thing, that's part of the next step. When we got that car, we were like, what are we going to do? And then I was going out of town, and you found that parts car, which was a 70 Mach 1.
You were already out of town. You were like, please
go get this, because they only wanted $400 for it or something like that.
He wanted $350, and I told him, I was like, if you hold it for me, I'll give you an extra $100. And he was like, oh, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
he was really hesitant to sell it, which was stupid because it was a piece of crap. But it had a lot of great parts for what we needed. And eventually I kind of swindled him into selling it to me. So I kind of just rushed down there. He called me like 800 times. I know I've talked about this many times before on the podcast. We brought it back here. It's the rustiest piece of crap I've probably ever seen.
I don't know if you've actually posted the video of me cutting that thing up.
It's on Instagram.
On YouTube.
I haven't put it on YouTube, but I know I've talked about the parts car before.
So yeah, we should probably post that because that's a cool video that you made. It's only a minute long, but it's super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to be 3 minutes long and put it on YouTube. So I think it has to be 3 minutes long.
I don't think there's a limit.
I think there is. Anyway, you
Not
look at
important.
that. Okay, not important. But anyway, we got the parts car, got all the parts off of it, got it to the point where I was thinking, okay, I think we're about ready to start this. At least get it inside, start figuring things out, and let's get this thing started. Mm-hmm. And I came in a couple of weeks ago, early on a Sunday. I don't think you were in town.
Mm-mm.
And I came in. I was getting ready to go motocrossing with the boys. I put my bike outside. I come back into the shop, and I hear this super loud bang. And I was like, it's 6:30 in the morning. Nobody's here on Sunday, right? Nobody's working on Sunday this early. And I look on the cameras. There's nobody outside, anything like that. And I was like, oh, you're right. So I'm waiting for Shane to come pick me up, and so we can go to the motocross track. And I said, man, I'm just going to empty the trash. And I go to take the trash out the back door, and I walk out the back door, and there's a massive tree limb that has fallen on the WICKSTER.
Yeah. You sent me a photo of that, and I was just like, I really didn't know how to feel, to be honest. I was kind of upset about it, but I was also like, you just had all the trees trimmed, and I was like, I was like, how the hell does that happen?
So the coolest part of that car is the roof.
Yeah,
and the most valuable part of that car is the roof. So there are people that spend $500 to $1,000 just for the roof for those cars. So what we have in it and what we went through it, I just don't know. It's just not worth trying to fix that car. And I could probably bend all that stuff back into place where a windshield or at least a plexiglass windshield or something could fit in there, and we could like put everything together. The problem is putting the suspension on that car is going to cost at least $3,000. And I don't want to put the wheels back on it for $3,000 and have that smashed up roof. So I think we're going to punt that one. Just get all the parts together and put it all together as a package, and somebody can maybe use the parts for a car that they're doing. Maybe they have a car that they could actually use all the parts for.
Well, I've listed cars that have sat next to that car, and I've had many people like ask me for parts and stuff, and ask me,
I thought they were asking you to sell the car.
No, somebody actually wanted the really crappy one. Before we cut it up, I was selling something else that was sitting next to it. So
they thought they did.
I'm optimistic on the fact that we will sell it because it will make a great parts car for someone. Because the fenders are still pretty good, the hood's still pretty good. Any patch panels they want to cut out of it, and the fact that you have all these parts that you've harvested off of the parts car we originally had. Mm-hmm. And God only knows what else we have. So it'll make a great parts car for someone. It needs a new home. Its home is no longer here because I'm sure we can find another project to do, no problem. Unfortunately, the WICKSTER is officially dead. Maybe we'll find something cool to put the Coyote motor in. I don't know yet.
I don't know. I don't see us doing. Yeah, I don't see us doing another WICKSTER. I don't see, unless I get a really good deal on a really solid shell that we can put a 69 or 70 Mustang fastback or sport roof car together with all the original pieces. I would like to do one with like a 351 in it or something like that.
Yeah, a Coyote truck would be cool. Like an old Ford truck.
I think we have the Javelin too. And I think everything that we have Ford, we can
put in the Javelin.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about either doing a nice 289 or 302 or something.
Or a Coyote.
Or a Coyote.
Yeah, it might work.
the beefiest Javelin around.
Well, Speedle video got released.
That is finally up. I am so happy it's finally done and finally out. I've had a lot of people talking to me about how they're, ready to see it. The restoration was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have no complaints. I still have so much more I need to do on the car.
Great show. But I hope everybody enjoys it out there.
Yeah, I hope everybody does enjoy it. It's I don't even know how to explain it. I'm super thankful for the amount of people that have pitched in. Like, I really didn't expect to have all that help. And I'm glad we got it all on film. And there's so much more to come the next 2 episodes I have to release. So.
Oh, yeah. You've had a lot of fun with that car that you have to show people.
I know. My car's dead now.
Oh, we'll get it fixed. I mean, and it'll be better.
It will be better.
So, we'll hop everything up on that thing. Th're easy to do.
Yeah, we're going to have, 4 videos? 4 guaranteed videos coming out of that car. 4
guaranteed videos out of that car. So, working on the MX show. Mm-hmm. So that's coming down the pipe. I'm excited about that. Might do 2 of those. I'm not sure. At some point make them.
Well, you can do.
I want to do the riding. I want to do the riding stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's our story on the WICKSTER. We really wanted to get that out because a lot of people. They ask what the WICKSTER, and then a couple of people actually figured it out. They were like, they know me so well that they were like, John Wick, is that from the movie John Wick? And so it was pretty cool that they got it.
You had that name decided like instantly.
Yeah.
It was kind of like me and the Rot Runner. Like, we had just started talking about YouTube in general, and I was like, what if we did the Rot Runner? And it kind of stuck. And you've been talking about the WICKSTER since, I think the first time you were looking for Mustangs, I was looking kind of for you when we had the Challenger.
Yeah.
Like, I want a WICKSTER, man. I want a WICKSTER.
Right. Yeah. And this was before we even started doing any YouTube stuff. So it's really cool that it's all come around like that. But really sad that we're not going to do that. But we're going to move on to some GM products and show people how we can knock out a GM on a budget build. And really, I think we're going to kick ass with that one. We're going to keep that a secret until maybe the next podcast.
This is going to be a real budget build.
Budget build, that's right.
We say budget build, and sometimes we hold ourselves to it. Like I was saying, I was going to try to sort of budget build the Speedle, but I don't even want to talk about how much money I have in that thing.
Well, we went over budget on the Rot Runner, so $800 or something like that.
I don't even remember, and I really don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but still have more money to spend on that car, so.
In the future,
if we ever get back to going to car shows, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun driving that car down to Daytona, and going to like the Turkey Rod Run or the Spring Fest in Daytona where they have the car show, and we can vend some parts and have some fun. Really, really, dress up and show our cars and get our leather on, and I'm gonna have a 10-inch mohawk.
I'm going to be in shorts and a HHWheels t-shirt. Good luck with the whole leather situation. It's going to be 1,000 degrees because half of these friggin' car shows are in Florida.
I'm just messing with you.
You're going to die.
No, the leather's not happening.
We were sweating our butts off in the Rot Runner video.
Well, I think that's about going to sum this one up. Mm-hmm. You got anything to add today?
Just be excited. I'm excited for the new things that are about to come. Unfortunately, the death of the WICKSTER is kind of saddening, but I'm kind of already over it.
Yep. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Fuel Clothing, the Bike Doctor of Hilton Head, Rebels Navy, and Carolina Towing. The guys from Land Speed Automotive also help us out all the time.
And will soon again,
yes,
trust me.
Of course.
And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to HHWheels.
Watch us on YouTube.
Hopefully that's what they're doing right now. Stupid.
You don't have to put that in.
No, it's going in. It's definitely going in.
Yeah, that shit'll buff out. Boo, 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 boo. What? Check.
I literally said not anything stupid. And what did you do? Do something stupid.
I'm checking the mic.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of 14 Minutes of Fame. Also, don't forget to check out Speedle Video Part 1 up on our channel right now. Link in the description.